The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, and welcome to the webinar today on turning traffic into visitors. We're going to get started in just a second. My name is Matt Wilkinson. I'm the founder and CEO of Bizink. And this is the final part of the Marketing Quickstarter series. So we're going to be pulling together everything that we've done in the previous 5 weeks and showing how that can result in some actual sales and new clients for you through your website and online marketing. So just before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any technical issues, please use the chat window in the admin panel, and Camilla will do her best to get you sorted with that. And if you have any questions for me as we go along, just fire those into the questions window, and I'll either answer those as we go along, or most likely at the end, I'll stick around for a Q&A session and answer any queries that you've got. So let's get started. So what we're going to be, I'll just give you a little bit of background to me. So as I said, I'm the founder and CEO of Bizink. I've been working for over 15 years in online business, and since 2010 exclusively with accountants and bookkeepers. And that's through Bizink, a company that I founded in 2012, and our job is to make accountants and bookkeepers incredible online, and we're doing that with firms in the US, Canada, UK, and Australia and New Zealand, where we're based. So let's get into what we're going to be talking about today. What we're going to cover is why your website isn't working right now, because I think a lot of accountants and bookkeepers' websites don't deliver leads for them. So we're going to look at why that probably is. Then we're going to look at some simple conversion tactics, what I would consider as things to get you to the starting line. And then we're going to have a look at how to create a lead magnet. And that's one of the most important parts of the whole Marketing Quickstarter series. And then how we look at nurturing leads to get a really good success rate. So yeah, like what we're going to be looking at here today really is pulling everything together. That the first session in Marketing Quickstarter was about creating a great website. The next session was about content, what content you put in your website. And then the last 3 sessions of about how to really drive traffic through search engines, through social media, and through email marketing. So that's all great. You know, you can have a good website, you can have traffic going to it, but if it doesn't create leads and those leads don't become clients, then it's all a waste of time. So that's what we're going to be looking at today, is that leads part, which is absolutely crucial. So as I mentioned, how we're going to get started is having a look at how accounting and bookkeeping sites really work, because I think this background and understanding this is really important to then demonstrate the kind of the tactics that you need to actually get leads and be successful. So the first statistic is that most of the people who visit your website aren't ready to engage you. So this statistic from Kissmetrics is actually across all kinds of business-to-business websites. I would suggest that for accountants and bookkeepers, that percentage is even higher. You know, you're talking probably like 99% of people who visit your website aren't just going to pick up the phone. You know, it's not like, say, Amazon.com or an e-commerce site where people are coming with a shopping intent, and they're likely to buy on that visit. People are researching you, they're evaluating, and you know it's not something they're going to make an impulse purchase. So that's the first thing to understand, is that you know your site is never going to suddenly be converting a huge amount of the visitors that go there. So it's very important with that kind of small percentage who are ready that we capture them, and we do some other things with those other people who are interested, but they're just not quite ready to engage you. Second statistic that's important to understand is that most people who visit your site will never come back. So, you know, you've only got that small percentage who are going to get in touch. So most people won't. And and most of them will never come back, which doesn't make for very good reading. But I can show you some ways as we go forward how to work with those statistics rather than fight against them. And a final kind of seemingly kind of damning statistic is, even those people who do get in touch, they take a very long time to make a decision. And I'm sure you've all experienced this, is that, you get a lead and then your sales funnel can be very long, months, can be years. I've talked to firms who've kind of, had someone they started talking to as a lead, and it's taken them like 2 and 3 years to close that deal. And that's for lots of reasons, because it's a big decision switching to another firm. There's a lot of perceived pain in doing that. The cloud's made that process a lot easier, but there's a lot of perceived pain. And businesses are just, they're busy people, and they've got other things to do. So it means your sales funnel's quite long. So it's important to keep those things in mind, because there's not that much we can do to change those, because they're not website things. They're to do with the psychology of people who are looking to engage in accountants and bookkeepers. So instead of fighting those, we've got to work with them. So with that in mind, I'm going to first have a look at some simple things that you can do to make your website convert more. So when I say convert, what I mean is, say 100 people visit your site, 10 of those get in touch, you've got a 10% conversion rate. That's going to be very unlikely for most firms, that like 10%. But let's look at some ways that you can focus on conversion and increase that percentage on your site. So the first thing is to put your focus on conversion. What I see most firms focusing on is the top of this marketing funnel. So they spend a whole load of effort on attracting people to their site. So that, they might use Google AdWords, they might do some search engine optimization, different types of online advertising, and they pull lots of people to their site, but they don't convert them into clients. So what I would say is, what you need to do before thinking about attracting more people to your site is actually think about, what is your site doing to convert visitors into leads. Because if it doesn't do that, if your site doesn't convert people, it doesn't matter if you get 100 people going, 500, 1,000, the result's going to be the same, no clients. So the key is to get a converting website first, and then push traffic there. Because we've seen in the last Marketing Quickstarter webinars, a lot of that stuff isn't that hard. At the very least, you can go to Google AdWords and buy traffic. If you know that your site converts 1 in 100 people to clients, then you can just do a quick sum in terms of return on investment from Google AdWords and just buy some traffic. So that going back to this one, it's that attract part is often not that hard to do. The conversion bit a little bit more difficult, but when you've got that in place, you've got a lot more valuable website. So the example I like to give, it's better to have a 1% conversion rate with 300 visits than 600 visitors and 0.5%. And the reason there is, it's going to cost you more to get 600 visitors. You're going to be dealing with more kind of inquiries and that kind of thing. So it's much more efficient to have the higher conversion rate and less visitors. So what I want to have a look at quickly is what I consider conversion basics. So these are some things that you've really got to have a look at on your site to make it convert, to a decent rate. And these would be things like having the phone number all over the place, your contact details, contact us. I think you should have your phone number prominently on every page of your site. Probably in the top banner is a good place to have that. You might want a contact form like on this site here, maybe even a live chat window. So people are lazy online. They don't go digging through your website. They just need to get those details really quickly. And if you don't do that, they could be put off. And think of it this way. They could be looking at your site alongside 3 or 4 other local firms. They'll have their browser open. They've got the different tabs, and yours is one of 3, 4, 5, whatever other firms. If they're having to dig through your site to try and find how to get in touch with you, it's leaving a bad impression. And if another site is much easier to go with, they might just close you down. So that's a real basic one, is to make it really easy for people to get in touch with you. And also let people get in touch in their way. Don't force them to use just an online form like we've got on the left here. Don't just have a phone number or an email address. Have all of those methods. Some people like to call, email, whatever it is. You may also want to have something like live chat on the website. We find that quite effective on our website. I know quite a few firms who use that, and they found that to be a real good lead generating tool. So maybe not for every firm, but if you've got a receptionist, or even just somebody who's online all the time, then it's not that hard to have a chat function sitting there. It's only like somebody answering the phone. So yeah, make it really easy for people to get in touch in the way they want. That's going to help with your conversion rate. I've probably mentioned this quite a few times during this webinar series. With online marketing, there's never usually one thing that makes a massive difference. That there's no silver bullet, but a lot of these things will have a small benefit, and when you add them up, that totals up to a bigger benefit. So I'd definitely put that in this category, this stuff in that category. Another thing you might want to have a look at is appointment booking apps. Really good way for people to obviously book an appointment with you. It's very slick. It's very fast. What we found when we added one to the Bizink website, the number of demos that we got went up by a third, just because it was so much easier for people to do that. It's a great first experience that they have with you, so the likelihood of them closing, I think, becomes higher. And an added benefit that we found was that we save about 10 minutes of admin time per booking. So you don't have that back and forth email conversation where you're trying to find a suitable time. They just go in and off you go. So with our sites, we integrate with things like Timely, Acuity, Calendly, vCita, which is this one on screen. They're all really good third-party apps. Most of them have a free tier as well that you can go on. So I'd highly recommend having something like that, and I think that will help your conversion rate. One other thing that I'd mention here would be it would seem like a small thing, but I would say it's quite an important thing, is have a look at the links on your site. So either link text or buttons. So when I say link text, instead of writing, for example, click here to contact us, and the words click here are the link, you should write something like, let's talk about increasing profit in your business, and make that whole sentence a link. First of all, there's a benefit in the link text. So, people are all about what's in it for them. Click here, it's very generic. Why would they do that? Put something that's like an incentive into the link text. That will really help. There's been a lot of research done into the effectiveness of text online, and actually, certainly putting benefits, descriptive text into links has been shown to be much more effective. And also, like, longer links tend to work. So definitely go through your site and have a think about that. Where you want somebody to take action, put a reason for them to do that. What's in it for them? If you want to have an example of how that's done really well online, is if you look at like news websites where they're trying to get you to click on stories, they're very good at sort of making you kind of, oh, I wonder what's in that. I wonder what's in that article. Putting something kind of enticing that you want to find out. You might have heard the phrase clickbait. that's that kind of it's sometimes slightly dubious way of like making something sound really exciting to get users to click on it. I'm not suggesting you go and do that on your website, but you can. There's certainly stuff to learn from looking at how news websites do that. And beyond text links, um, using buttons can also be effective. So, you can see a couple of examples on the screen there. Just something to lift something from the screen, make it more prominent, encourage people to click on it. That can work really well. You obviously don't want to have lots of them because you want them to stand out. So, it tends to be with websites, you want one key call to action per page, and use a good button on that. There's a lot. If you Google like the psychology of color related to websites, you'll find endless stuff written there. Whether the buttons should be green or red, depending on what you want people to do. That's kind of beyond the scope of what we're going into today. But certainly buttons can be a good way to get people to click and take action on your website. So they're just a few of the basic things that I think is good to go and have a bit of a hygiene check around your website and think, how easy is it for people to get in touch? Because the primary function of your website is that when people are referred to you, they will always go and check you out in Google and find your site and do a bit of due diligence. So make it really easy for those people to get in touch. Then for other people who find your site through search engines or through other marketing that you're doing, again, all of these things make it really easy for them to get in touch. If you don't, if it's not easy, people are lazy, and you'll lose a certain amount of people. They just won't get in touch with you. But I think what we really wanted to look at today is how to use your website to build a sales pipeline. Those things are going to work, but they're very much foundational things. So what I want to have a look at now is how we actually start. Let's go back to that original statistic. Most of that 96% of people, or whatever we say, is 99% of people don't get in touch with you. So how do we know that some of those people are interested, or else why would they have come? But why didn't they get in touch? Well, we don't know that, but what we want to do is start talking to those people. So that's what we're going to have a look at. And so what we're doing is accepting that we're not going to turn 99% into 90%. It's just not going to happen. So let's work with those statistics, accept what they are, and then work with them. My second point would be that you probably don't need more traffic to get leads from your website. So yeah, don't necessarily need to be worrying about doing more SEO or all those kind of things. We can actually probably get enough leads to get things kicked off from the existing traffic to your site. The key question is what is your website doing to turn traffic into leads? And that's what we're going to look at now. Once we've got leads, we need to nurture them. We'll do that in the final part of the webinar. We'll cover off how you do that. So what you need to do, the main thing that your website needs to do, the main thing is that sealing the deal with referrals, right? So that due diligence thing, people have been referred to you, they check out your website, it needs to look good, and it needs to be easy to get in touch with you. So that's the main thing. After that, the leads that you can get are going to be those people who don't get in touch. We try and grab some details from them, because then even if they go away and we know they probably won't come back, we can start talking to them and we can start a relationship with them. So we can start saying, of that 99%, can we grab 10% of that and start talking to them? Then we can we can bring them back to the site, we can make them offers, we've got a chance of converting them into a client. So the key is to try and capture data from people who visit your site. And when we say data, to be honest, I'm going to say it's an email address. That's the thing you should focus on. You can try and capture more data. The more you ask for, the less likely people are to give it to you. If you want to ask for their, company name, their phone number, the more you ask for, the less likely people will give it. Email address, nice and simple, and that's all you need to get started, because you can start talking to them if you've got their email address. But obviously, people aren't just going to give up their email address for nothing. So what we have to look at is giving something away in return for that person's email address. And we call that lead magnets, is having things on your site which are lead magnets. Essentially, most likely that's going to be some content that you give away. So this is on one of our clients' websites. They've used some content that we gave them to create a guide on planning for disaster recovery. And to get that guide, to download that guide, you've got to enter your details. You don't even have to ask for name. I'd say just ask for email. That's all you need to do. Name can come later, phone number, company name, it doesn't matter. At this point, we just need to grab something from them and start talking to them. So yeah, like different things you can offer as lead magnets, downloads like that. So that's basically like an ebook or a report. This is another client who've got this 7-step business plan course, where they get a business plan template and course, which we help them out with. Just something that you think is valuable to your audience, and hopefully the type of people that you're trying to attract. Think about what their pain points are and create some content around that. Like we did in the second webinar, which if you missed, all the recordings are on marketingquickstarter.com. But in that content webinar, we looked at creating content around pain points. And that's exactly what you can use for these lead magnets. So, someone's visiting the site. Here, they focus very much on business planning, business coaching, business growth. So having a business plan template and course fits in really well with their target audience. Other things that you could do, like I say, guides and ebooks, tools and templates, things like cash flow templates, something like that. Particularly if you specialize in a certain niche or industry, that can work really well because it's very focused. But just think about those pain points. That's where we kind of come to. I'm just going to jump out of here and show you some on some real websites. So exactly what I mean by this. So this is one of our clients in New Zealand. So they've got this New Zealand business kit, which is sitting, like really prominently on the homepage of their website. Or if I dive into one of the inner pages, you can see that's on every page pretty much of their website. So people come along. They're obviously focusing on New Zealand businesses, and that's got information on tax saving, improving cash flow, KiwiSaver, which is a government-backed super scheme. So that what happens then? People come along and they're not ready to engage the firm, but they might. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I'd like that kit. They get the email address, and then Andrew and his team can keep marketing to them, and building up that database of leads. And you can actually see some of the other things that we talked about on just at the start. The foundational stuff. He's got this pop-up window, chat window. They can schedule a meeting. Phone numbers right up there, social media details, contact, all the contact details are there. It's very easy for people to get in touch. So this is ticking all the boxes in terms of good conversion tactics plus a lead magnet. This is another firm that we work with in Port Macquarie. So they've got a cash flow kit. Basically, cash flow is a really good thing to create content around because every business it has cash flow issues at some point. So it's a really good conversation starter. Who doesn't, well, like these guys have got here, want more cash in your business? Who doesn't? So they're capturing leads like that. So they're just a couple of examples of those lead magnets, and what you do with it, is the content is gated. So that's the kind of industry phrase, is that you put a gate around the content, and that gate is they've got to give you their email address. So when I put an email address in there and click get the kit, that email gets pushed into the email marketing software where it's stored, and the website visitor gets that kit. So that's great. They've had a nice introduction to you as a firm. You've given away some nice branded, useful content, and you've got their email address, which is ideal. So yeah, jumping back, if I go back into the slides, let's get this full screen again. So just bear with me. There we go. So yeah, really important to have a lead magnet or lead magnets on your site. That is the essential thing that you need, and put the content behind a form like that. So ideally, you'll want that form integrated with your email marketing software. But it could be that it just captures the data in a backend database. But you have to have some kind of form that you take their email address, and only then you give them that content. So, okay, that's happened. Someone's come along. They've, for example, downloaded that cash flow kit that we just looked at. That's great. You've got a lead, but now what? All that is an email address in a database. It's certainly not a client. What do we do with those leads? And what we need to do is nurture those leads. So the data you're capturing from your lead magnets, you basically need to nurture those leads, because going back to our original statistics, let's say it's 99% of people aren't ready to engage you. We know some of them are interested, but maybe just not right now. For some, it might be next week, might be next month, might be next year. We don't really know that at this point, and that's okay. So what we need to do is just nurture those people, keep sending them useful information, begin a relationship with them, so that when they are ready to engage you, you're going to be top of mind. That's the key. There's a phrase that I always like, which is, people buy when they want to, not when you do. We've all done it. You want some more sales, you send out a marketing campaign, and you think, oh, that we're going to get a load of sales. Well, no, people buy when they're ready, not just because you've decided to send a marketing campaign. And that's where lead nurturing works really well. It's this kind of softly approach of keeping in touch with people with useful content. And then, when they become ready, you'll be top of mind. I mean, that's the nuts and bolts of it. So just show you some results of a firm that we work with in Perth, Western Australia. They get 16 qualified website leads every month, and they're coming through a lead magnet, or lead magnets that they have on their site. So they have different lead magnets. They convert 60% of those leads to clients, and those clients are worth $4,000 a year annually. So a pretty good result. And the key to that is lead nurturing, is that they get those leads, 16 every month, but they don't. It's not like 16 come in and then they convert 60% that month. Some of those leads, it might have taken them a few months to do that, and that's because they nurture them, and then when those people become ready to switch to another firm, they're top of mind. So the best way to do it is, and what I'm doing here, look, is I want to give you like a real simple kind of formula for making your website convert more. So after that foundational stuff, I think get a lead magnet, and then do some lead nurturing. And the way that I suggest that you do that is through drip marketing, and what that is a series of pre-written emails that are sent over time. So, you could do lead nurturing by calling every single lead that you get, or, going and meeting them. And, you know, um, most people are not going to have the time, the budget, to make that happen. Because one of the things that we're going to do here is we can automate this process. So say someone's come in from that cash flow kit. What we want to do is keep sending them information about cash flow and related topics. With drip marketing, you usually have the recipient's explicit permission. So the permission would be they've signed up on your site, and you've got some kind of information about what you're going to send them. You don't just want to start randomly sending drip marketing campaigns to everybody. And there's no limit for how long you keep sending them. So you might do it intensively at first. Someone signs up on your site and you send them, maybe 10 emails over 2 weeks. And then you might slow down the frequency a little bit. So maybe it's an email every month after that, just to keep you top of mind. And because, as we looked at earlier, for most of you, I think your sales cycle will be quite long. We'll be talking months and sometimes years. Then there's no reason to stop a drip marketing campaign after a month or a couple of months. Keep going with it. As long as you've got unsubscribe links in there, people can just click that and unsubscribe. You'd be surprised how long it can take to warm a lead up, or just that, like going back to that point of them being ready. You just want to be top of mind when that occurs. So, what we're doing here is warming up that 96%. Like I said, I'd say it's more like 99% of people till they're ready to buy. You're staying top of mind. Big part of it also automates your lead nurturing, right? So I don't ever talk to any firms who've got a whole bunch of time to do marketing, and most firms have very little time to do it. So anything that can be automated is a massive plus, and that's what you can do with drip marketing. Create your emails, schedule them out, so that when someone signs up, they're going to get the emails in the order that you've decided. So bit of effort to set it up, but once you've done that, it's automated. It will just keep happening, and not only does that mean you don't have to do it, it also means that it's happening when you're busy. So a lot of firms who actually do a bit of marketing tend to go really quiet around tax time when they get busy, and that's obviously a key selling time for you as well. That's when people are thinking about switching firms. So having it automated ensures that it's going to get done as well. Yeah, and finally, like I mentioned, it fits with your your long sales cycle of accountants and bookkeepers. It really fits in with how that works. So I just wanted to show you quickly again. I'll jump out of here and show you how it works in our email marketing software, because I think it's good to visualize this stuff rather than just kind of have a look at a slide. So I'll jump back into here. So this is our demo website, and you can see the lead magnet sitting here: free business plan template and course. So that's asking people to add their email, and they get this free business plan template and email course. So I could type in there. So I can just put a fake email address in there for now. So someone signs up, and it's telling them to check their inbox for the first lesson and the business plan template. So what happens is, if I refresh this list, you can see I've been pushed automatically into the top of that list. So completely automated. Someone signed up and they're in your list. And that's the thing you're also doing here, is you're building a list of targeted emails. So over time this will expand, and you've got a marketing database. So you've got them, and what happens is this triggers off this series of emails. So this is one that we can offer to you, offer to our clients. Is this series where people get a I'll just turn off the Mac trying to update me. And so yeah, the first email gets sent, then it waits. So we've put it in as a minute here. That's because we use this one for testing. What you'd really do is like a day here. So yeah, the second email goes after a day, third email another day, and it goes on for a week. And then at the end of that, we basically send an email where we're saying, do you need more help with your business plan? Get in touch with the firm, the contact details. So you can see how that lead nurturing would work is that, they're getting their first impression of you is these guys are giving me some great free content. I've had a business plan template, and now they're educating me on how to fill in that business plan. It's, coming in over a week, all nicely branded up. And then at the end, you're offering to help them. So just in that, you've done in a week, you've nurtured that lead from somebody who's just visited your website cold to somebody who you've had a kind of meaningful interaction with, and you've not really had to do anything apart from obviously create that initial content. And then after that sequence finishes, like I say, I would keep sending them one email a month indefinitely. They can either unsubscribe or they become a client. Either way, it's fine. It's not costing you anything to make that happen. And so how that looks to the website visitor, that this is the email. This is the first email. They get to download the business plan template. And this is talking about, is there a market? This one's regionalized for Australia, so there's a lot of stuff from Australian Bureau of Statistics, Australian Marketing Institute, some downloads, and that's all in a mobile friendly email. So that's the kind of thing that you'd want to be sending out. And then you can go back in here, and obviously you're getting you can see the reporting in there as well. So I'll click on the full report, so we can actually see who's opened this email, who's clicked on it, so we can get some really good data around that as well. And so yeah, that's set up and nicely running. That's how your drip marketing works. That's how your lead nurturing works. So how to get started with it? You need to get some email marketing software. So I was just showing you Bizink's email marketing software, which has automation in it. Other options, or certainly some popular options, MailChimp, Aweber, Constant Contact, are all good choices, and I can send out some links to those in the follow-up email. But you're going to need some software to do it. I mean, obviously, it's not something you're going to do out of Outlook. You want a proper email marketing software which has a database and has that email automation, sometimes called autoresponders, sometimes called drip marketing. It's all the same thing. Then you're going to need to write your content, so a series of emails to send out. So I would say keep the content educational. The aim here is to sell without selling. This is the whole kind of content inbound marketing thing that we covered in the second webinar, is that modern way of marketing is not to be too pushy. But why I've put mostly in brackets is that, obviously you can offer your services if they're useful. So just like I showed you in that example there with the business plan course, at the end of the course, ask them if they want more help with their business plan and to get in touch with you. That kind of selling like that, soft selling really, is the way to go with it. People should be, they'll be pretty aware that you're trying to get them as a client. Being useful to them is going to be much more effective than being pushy and salesy. And the final thing is, like I just showed you in that report at the end, email marketing software gives you a whole lot of statistics around who opened the emails, who clicked on them. That can help you understand if your content is effective, um, which emails are getting clicked on a lot. You might want to prioritize those, and make them more prominent in your series of emails. Um, so the takeaways are, the first thing is to focus on converting traffic, not more traffic. Um, this webinar series is hopefully it all gels together in the sense of, you need a good website, you need good content on your website, and you need to get visitors there. But unless you do this, having a lead magnet, and converting people on your site, all that stuff's a waste of time. So this is really what you kind of like the icing on the cake is do all that other stuff, but make sure that on your site you've got those conversion tactics, so it's really easy to get in touch with you, and have some form of lead magnet. I can't stress how important that is on not just on an accounting and bookkeeping website, any business to business website where people aren't just going to come and transact with you like on an e-commerce website. Really important to have that lead magnet that captures people's details so you can keep talking to them. So yeah, you're giving away something to get something back, and that email address is super valuable. I can't overstate the kind of value of a targeted email database, because if we go to the email marketing webinar that was a couple of weeks ago, that the return on investment of email is so much higher than other forms of online marketing. So $38 for every $1 spent email marketing returns. Search is like $22. Social is like 12. So having email addresses equals much higher return on investment. So yeah, make your email marketing a priority. It's just proven to be effective. All the other things are really important, social, search, all of those things, but prioritize email marketing because commercially it just works and it gives you a really good return on investment. And that final thing is nurturing leads. So, don't just have the lead magnets and get the email addresses. Nurture those leads and use technology to do that in a really smart way. So, automation means you can be persistently nurturing leads over a long period of time, and that fits in with your sales cycle. And it also means that once it's set up, it just works. And I think that's the holy grail for most firms I talk to, is that they're interested in marketing. Obviously you've come along to this webinar series, you're interested in marketing, but I know that when it gets busy, it's often the first thing to get dropped. So anything that can be automated, I think, is a massive plus. So that's how it works really well. So one of the things that we're doing for everyone who registered for the Marketing Quickstarter series, we're going to put you in a draw for Bizink Client Converter. And what they are is a tool that does it's a lead magnet and it's the lead nurturing all in one. So it actually does turn your website visitors into clients. It's 100% automated, so that's why it makes it one of our more popular products. Is you literally need to do nothing. We can get that set up on your website and it just works. And the leading firms are using, I'm not going to say that they're not all using Bizink client converters, but this method of marketing, which is lead magnets and lead nurturing. So we're going to put you in the draw to win one. We'll announce that by tomorrow, and you'll get a free year of client converters, which is worth best part of $1,200. So yeah, we'll let you know about that tomorrow when we send out the webinar recording. And we'll send out the slides as well, because I know people like to have a look at those. I'm going to stick around to answer some questions now. So if you have any questions for me, can be about lead gen, but anything to do with online marketing, anything we've covered in the Marketing Quickstarter series, please feel free to fire those into the question window, and I'll stick around and answer those. And yeah, also if you want to connect, you can see my details up there on screen. Please feel free to do that. If you want to find out a little bit more about Bizink and what we do, go to our website /tour. Actually, it's just a big button that says book a demo. You can do that, and you can see how scheduling software works as well. That's been really successful for us. That's worth a look. And if you're an MYOB partner, we've got a whole load of kind of special features and some special pricing for you. So let us know if you're an MYOB partner as well, because yeah, we've got we're a preferred website supplier to MYOB partners, so we can help you out there. So yeah, I'm going to stick around and answer questions. I can see one coming in here now. I'm just going to read through this quickly. Okay, so Bonnie's asking a good question. She's worried about scaring people off with excessive emails. And she says, if she gets too many emails when she subscribes to something, she hits unsubscribe. So yeah, what she's asking, how do we find the balance between too much and just right? I'm gonna say most people do too few emails. It's hard to overdo it, I would say. There's a phrase in marketing which is he who tells the most sells the most. So I think getting out there with a lot of information is usually a good thing. If you ask people, how many emails they want to receive, they'll say, not many. There's lots of things like that in internet marketing. Like people say they hate pop-ups on websites, but they're really effective. So um, in terms of a number, it's really hard to say. I guess it depends how good your content is, right? So if you're sending stuff that's kind of like loosely valuable or whatever, then yeah, that could annoy people. But if you're sending stuff that's really really valuable, you're answering really really good questions, then I think you can send quite a lot. But I think definitely at the start do it quite intensively. So something as they sign up, maybe something a couple of days later, maybe wait 3 days, send something else. But what you've got to realize is that if they've been on your website, then that's the point that they're most likely to want to engage you, or certainly, you can assume that at that point. After a month, yeah, not so much. So yeah, I'm not giving you a very clear answer on that, but I think that it's one of those things that if you've got really really valuable content, and this is where I'd go back to saying use email marketing's reporting and statistical power to look and go, okay, if I'm sending out like 10 emails in 2 weeks and people read the first two and then no one reads the last eight, then maybe you got to go, okay, those last email we need to review them. And then sometimes I've done it with email sequences that we've done, is that like email one gets like a reasonable open rate, email two same, email three it's like twice the amount. Okay, that's good. So maybe I'll move email three to email one and kind of stack the more useful content at the start. It's all a case of reviewing. I think like all, not just marketing, like anything in business, right? It's better to be kind of good now than perfect next week. Just get in there and get doing something, because that's the great thing about online marketing. It's not like yeah, I used to have a mail order business where we'd produce a calendar, a brochure twice a year, and that's super stressful because you've got to get it right, proofread it a million times, it goes out, that's it. Well, online marketing's not like that. You can get your email sequence out, and if you realize actually this is a bit lame, go back in, change it, chop it up. Things are kind of fairly temporary on the internet, so just always be in there refining and tweaking what you do. I think that's the best way to go about it, but just get in there and start doing it. So I can stick around for a couple more minutes if anyone else has got any questions. One thing that I would mention is marketingquickstarter.com. I'll bring it up on the screen. We basically have got all of the webinar recordings are on here. So I'll just bring it up now. So that's where we'll put the recording up tomorrow, but we'll be keeping the site up here. So if you want to go back and watch, like the first webinar, if you missed that, all the recordings are in there as well. And because it really fits together, what we've been doing is that, build the website, get content on it. That's your sort of basis for all of your online marketing. Social media, email, and search engine marketing is really about getting the word out, getting people to your website. And then, hopefully you can see from what we've gone through today, the key to all of that is having that lead magnet on the site, getting leads from your website, and then and then nurturing those using email automation, and that's what will really kind of convert people. Yep, so Mark's just asking if we can review some of the content on the website. Yeah, that's no problem, Margaret. We're happy to take a look at that for you. And if anyone wants us to do a bit of an audit on their website, we've sent this out, I think, a few times in the email, and we'll include this tomorrow as well. You can get a free website audit on the Bizink site, and what we do there is the team will go in and have a look at your site and make some suggestions as to how you can improve it. I mean, we'll give you some praise if it's pretty good as well. You just go to bizinkonline.com website audit. I'll put that in the chat window now. Hopefully that will come through. Just throw your details in there. All we need is the address of your website, your name and email address, and we'll get through those. Might take a few days because we've got a bit of a backlog. It's been really popular, but we'll make some suggestions in terms of, look, we work with hundreds of firms in Australia, New Zealand, US, UK, Canada. So we're pretty good at knowing what works and what doesn't work. And we'll just give you some pretty simple suggestions on how you can improve your site. Like I say, if it doesn't need improving, we'll tell you that as well. We're not going to just rip into it for the sake of it. Well, look, there's no more questions coming in. So I'd just like to say thanks very much for coming along today and for the rest of the Marketing Quickstarter series. Thanks to the MYOB team for helping us get this off the ground and promoted. I hope you've all found it valuable. We'll send out the recording and slides and some other things tomorrow. Plus, we'll do that draw for a client converter. And yeah, so that just leaves me to say thanks for coming along and enjoy the rest of your day.